So next we're going to be talking about the Deluxes. Now, the one Deluxe that we were already aware of when all this stuff was initially revealed when we were at TFCon was that of Sideswipe. And we've seen a lot more of Sideswipe, and he looks spectacular. We finally see how he looks colored and everything. With the Deluxes especially, as opposed to Ultra Magnus that we've discussed previously, is we really see an emphasis on what the designers were mentioning, how the overall arcing design of the robot modes of Siege, War for Cybertron Siege, is gritty. That was the word they were going for. And you see that a lot with these, especially with the Deluxes, in the weathering, the battle damage. They said that it's something that they wanted to be very noticeable in robot mode, but not so much so in alt mode. Now, the characters that they chose to go about with the Deluxes, we'll go with like in the waves according to, again, I have the note information here readily available. So the Wave 1 Deluxes are going to be Sideswipe, as mentioned before, and Cog. Now, for people who don't know who Cog is when we got the original Fortress Maximus Titan character, he was great and all, but he wasn't complete in a lot of ways in his original Generation 1 form. The original Generation 1 1987 Fortress Maximus came with a lot of accessories, and he came with a transforming mini vehicle called Cog. He didn't come with the Titan Returns version, or whatever you want to call it, your Generations version, or the Legends version. So this is an opportunity now for Cog to get a release in a deluxe size. And the way they're going about it is very that of not just being a transforming vehicle, but something more similar to that of, say, God Bomber from Master Force, where he's not only a transforming vehicle, but he also is a parts former that can become armor and pieces and weapons for a whole bunch of other characters. And it's an interesting play value because it's a deluxe figure that you buy. It transforms into two things, but then all those pieces come off and it can attach to Ultra Magnus, or it can attach to other people and create other weapons and stuff like that. So it's a really cool concept that they're going about with that. And it looks really nice, personally. And so that's essentially what Wave 1 is going to be. Wave 2 is going to be the pairing of what I would like to call the relationship pairing, which is Wave 2 is going to consist of Ironhide and Chromia. And Ironhide and Chromia in the original fiction were kind of like boyfriend-girlfriend, just not really established too much in the singular episode that they really had any kind of interaction.
Okay.
But let's just start with Chromia here. Chromia is quite a step up from her original Generations release. The original Chromia Generations toy was a heavy retool of a Prime RC toy, just so there would be another female character. But the problem with that is that the original Chromia in the Generation 1 cartoon was not a motorcycle-esque kind of character. She was very much so what we're looking at right here.
Right.
And I really dig this a lot. They've done a very good job of having a very blocky kind of alt mode, and yet still has the ability to have a feminine robot mode, which is really cool, because that's always been the biggest issue. And I think why they also kind of went with the motorcycle initially was because they're, when you have a motorcycle, that sleek thinness and stuff leads to being able to do.
I was going to say they were hitting their stride with female motorcycles with Energon, and then further on as they went on, like they just nailed that aesthetic and engineering. So it's just like, just keep it in that lane for now until we can figure it out for the later characters,
Also, I forgot to mention too, I was reading some of the notes here. It seems that some of the pieces with Cog, they actually detach from him and make some of the missing accessories that would work with Fortress Maximus.
Oh, no way.
So that's something interesting, that it's pieces and accessories that exist for a toy that at this point is already kind of like almost 2 years old, maybe even more. So it's also interesting that...
I was going to say it's also cool because they've done that before, haven't they? Where Optimus Prime from the movies comes with a shotgun that's meant for...
you're right.
For Megatron. Right. Which Megatron was that? That
was
truck one.
Dark of the Moon Megatron.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. You are right. I totally forgot about that. So... Another thing, too, is what they mention here, and I have no photo evidence of this, but they mentioned in the liner notes here that Chromia has removable grenades on her body.
What?
I don't see it on it either, and same thing with the breakfast photos. Maybe it's something that's more, I don't know, I guess underneath or hidden, but it says here she comes with removable grenades. So that's an extra cool little accessory. Again, I guess it's showing that if they're going to charge you that extra $1 or $2 for the price point, they're going to make sure you get a little more for your buck this time around. And then, of course, the last one here, and there is no mention yet of what wave he's going to be in. But judging, it might be a Wave 3 stuff, or maybe it might be Wave 1, but that would be an odd number. But we also have Autobot Hound. Now, Hound has been one of these characters that I've always felt since, like, Alternators, he was done perfect.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like he was always a pretty cut and dry design that, the traditional Jeep. And when Alternators did his toy, it was just like, man, do we even need a masterpiece? Like he's been pretty good since the beginning. And then, of course, we got him through Classics Generations.
Which I like,
and
too. I like the Classics as well.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And same thing, and they did a repaint, which made it a little more show accurate. And he threw in the little Ravage, too, to just give it a little extra something. But this is something that, again, is more of a different take. And, again, the mention here of the possibility of the hover wheels, I think that if the hover wheels do bend and you could do the hover wheel thing, would really make a final Cybertronian aesthetic to it.
I think the fact that they have hover wheels is pretty cool in the sense that I used to do that with my Hot Wheels toys, but that would break them.
Yeah, you bet.
that would take away the rolling aspect of that toy. But I want to have a flight mode for my toys, so.
There's not much else that's really here to mention about Hound. He looks like Hound. Like they kept the army star. He has the weathering on his legs, which looks really nice. Comes with 2 weapons. Not much really that could be said. Again, that was a character he's always been like the base model for a lot of Transformers in terms of transformation and simplicity, but also like a design that was never really hard to not replicate for the big screen or for the small screen or for action figures in any scale. I mean, his Legend scale toy is like his G1 toy. Like it's not a hard toy to do engineering for. So, but it's more just, hey, why don't we do a Hound toy? It's been a while. I mean, he's been in the movieverse, even though it's more called Bulkhead if you wanted to.
Oh,
but, yeah. But I mean,
I don't remember Bulkhead or Hound being that grumpy.
Yeah,
that cantankerous with everybody else in the team.
Hound is, a lot of people have always compared Hound to, oh my God, what's his name there? That old actor.
Oh,
Jimmy Carter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, also the president, I guess, man.
No, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. And just saying, like, he kind of has that similar mannerism and speak to it. But anyways, not exactly a grumpy individual. But anyhow, point being is, yeah, he's not much I could say really about Hound, and there's not much in terms of the liner notes from Hasbro here. So I was
gonna say, can we go back to the Ironhide real quick?
Go ahead.
One thing I want to say about this Ironhide is that he looks really good, especially in robot mode. I think that, I know, me personally, I've always found every time they've done an Ironhide that's trying to go for the G1 aesthetic, especially that very wide window pane across the chest and trying to make sense of the waist and everything, I think it's always been tough. The original toy, basically that wide window pane was supposed to be his head, his face, and then they kind of took liberties in the actual aesthetic on the show. And then with the Chug version, the Classics version, it was kind of weird because you had to like...
A lot of people were not happy with that original Chug version.
Yeah.
Like I think it was Universe 2.0 at the time.
Yeah. And,
there was a lot of problems. It had like, I don't know why the head of the figure was always looking kind of down and you couldn't fix that. A lot of people weren't happy with the head sculpt.
And then
they weren't happy with the color.
And then the skinny arms,
yeah.
that twist.
This is
something... Also, I kind of feel a little bit about the masterpiece. I wasn't really feeling super hard because of that weird diamond pelvis section. I knew there's a third party that did one that I thought was pretty good, but I guess he has that diamond pelvis. Like they show, like if you look at the actual animation model, that's there, I guess. Yeah. But it always looked weird to me. So this I actually like a lot. Like if you want to go for old school G1 Ironhide, I think this is like Cybertronian style. I think this is pretty good. I think it's very good.
This is also something that this character, his toy history has always been kind of rocky. Again, the original G1, let's not talk about it, but when you get to more modern interpretations, it's like, you know, there was a character called Toeline and Energon, which was like, oh, that would have been a great Ironhide. And then Bakan did a repaint of it. So it's like, yay, that's like the best Ironhide you could get. And it's an exclusive figure that's really difficult to get.
Yeah.
So like for the longest time. And then really you jump into, again, that crappy classics toy that no one likes. And everyone hated on that. And it, like for the I remember even one of our local anime shops, the owner, who's known for customizing and doing Gundam kits, someone brought in that Ironhide to make look show accurate and to make it look nicer. That's how much people didn't like it. What I look at this design though, what I like about it is, number one, the use of the yellow on the side, because that's very similar to the Toyota 1 design of the old Ironhide. But what I really like, too, is this is a very Cybertronian design in the sense that if you go back and look at the old Dreamwave War Within books, it's very indicative of that version. I mean, obviously, he still kind of had the window in the face at some points, but it's just... this is a very Cybertronian. Like of the designs that we've seen thus far, this is the one... that if you put those hover wheels on the side, this is very Cybertronian.
Yeah.
Like this is a departure, alt mode wise, of the original Ironhide, but it's clearly the spiritual evolution of it. If he had a Cybertronian form,
right?
Like this is and it looks great because the robot mode hits it perfectly. Because it, like you said, the big window chest. I love the head sculpt on it.
Yeah,
the head sculpt. The head sculpt is dead on to the animation model. So that's something I appreciate, which is again something that was kind of absent with all the previous iterations, except for, again, let's say the Masterpiece one. Great big crazy weapon, which is pretty cool too. Ironhide, ever since, let's say, the 2007 movie, has really gotten that kind of, you know, reputation of, oh, he's the weapons expert, even though like in the original, if I had to like associate a weapon with him, it'd be kind of like a drill, you know, or something. He was not really known as the weapons expert. Here he has this big massive crazy cannon with like a rocket launcher with 6 launchers in it.
They're just kind of merging the two now.
Yeah, and it looks great. I absolutely love him. He looks spectacular. But yeah, that's what we could really say much about the deluxes really up to this point. There's nothing really that they say here for Ironhide in terms of stuff. Same thing, possibility of hover wheels. We'll move on to the next category.